equal lived by a set of values. Show respect to others. Be polite to others. Forgive others. And be grateful for all God has given you. And I will tell you, kids respond to that. You are a Wiley. What a powerful message. Instead of us just putting pictures of our kids up all over the house and saying, how great, hey, here's your participation trophy. You know, we have pictures of Jewel in front of a shack in our house from 1911. And I know you have the same thing. Just that is such an important message, isn't it? And it's a message we need to send to our kids. Remember who you are.
Joe, thank you for sharing that. It's so important, and the word I want to really lift out that you said was gratitude. You know, my parents both believe, and my mother was white and grew up in racist West Texas, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And how you actually try to cross that bridge of racial divide, of recognizing that that very poverty that your family experienced, Joe, and that so many black families were experiencing was exactly the bridge my father was also trying to build, but confronting race. But that word gratitude was such an important part of my parents' training of me and of thinking about what it meant to be a Wiley, because if we aren't grateful for what we have, it's very hard to find the compassion to try to reach across and understand and move others. And I have found that an incredibly important word and value in my own upbringing.
The new memoir is entitled Remember You Are a Wiley. Maya Wiley, thank you very much for sharing it with us. Congratulations on the book.
Congrats, Maya.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
All right, it's 4 minutes past the top of the hour. Donald Trump returned to his original home state last night, New York, for a rally in Nassau County on Long Island.
Is because hasn't been done in many decades. It hasn't been done for a long time, but we are going to win New York. For every New Yorker being terrorized by this wave of migrant crime, November 5th will be your liberation day. It's going to be liberation because you are living like hell. You're living a life like hell. Vote for Donald Trump. What the hell do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? So I'd call up my wife and I'd say, baby, who could draw crowds? Nobody can draw crowds like me. Nobody, not even close. I'm the greatest of all time, maybe greater even than Elvis, because Elvis had a guitar. I don't have a guitar. Elvis had a guitar. I don't have the privilege of a guitar. But I'd say, baby, who could do it like me? Nobody can do it like me. How great am I?
Yeah.
He's
That was a lot.
He's running for president. And if you can believe it, there are people, like probably about 75, 80 million people that are going to vote for him. It is something, isn't it, America 2024? Jonathan Lemire, I hate to get in Elvis's way here and be so meddlesome as to deal with the stubborn facts, but he talks about a migrant crime wave, and he says, you're living a life like hell. Bears repeating that if violent crime continues to drop as rapidly as it has dropped throughout this year, we will have the lowest murder rates since 1950. Violent crime and other crimes continue to drop. And this is, I guess, the most troubling thing for Elvis. He keeps talking about migrant crime. Study after study after study after study has shown year after year after year that migrant crime rates are lower than crime rates by native-born Americans. This is like saying the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, like the earth is round. These are data points, undeniable data points And yet Donald Trump goes, he just lies. I'm not going to say alternative facts. He just lies. We just saw with a reporter from the Wall Street Journal talking about how a cat wanders downstairs into the basement. Its owner calls the cops and says she fears that a Haitian kidnapped and I think ate the cat. Right? And then that we find out that Miss Sassy was downstairs for 5 days. And an entire town is shut down because of it. Vance is told it's a lie. Trump is told it's a lie. The campaign's told it's a lie. The governor, Republican governor, who used to be a Republican senator, extremely popular Republican governor, says it's a lie, says they need to stop it. They continue. This is a campaign of lies. And yet you have people in the mainstream media and, of course, people on the Trump right and people that write newsletters who claim to be down the middle who are flattening this all out. Whether you talk about, what he did at Arlington or the debate, or you talk about this cat lie, there are now people in mainstream media who are going, oh, this is three-dimensional. People in writing newsletters, oh, this is three-dimensional chess. Oh, this is doing so. Trend lines for the polls don't suggest that any of this is helping Donald Trump right now.
Miss Sassy was downstairs all along, feels like the opening line of the book about this campaign. Let's take on two different things here. First, just to try to answer the question, why is Trump campaigning in New York State? Because despite what he's saying, he's not going to win New York State. He lost badly there in 2016, 2020. He will again. But it's two reasons. One, people in the campaign candidly admit they sometimes give him feel-good events just to pep him up. And that was a big, loud crowd last night. Suburban Long Island is more Republican than people think. He's not going to win the state, but certainly that was something that made him feel better. Secondly, there are some congressional races out there that do matter. We know the battle for the House is going to be really close. New York State, as it was in 2022, is going to play a decisive role this time around as well. But I also think, Joe and Mika, that it points to a little bit of Trump frustration here. His whole campaign is based on the two I's, inflation and immigration. And we see, as you just pointed out, Joe, the facts are not with him on immigration, particularly these claims of migrant crime. He is simply lying. And also, the border crossings have really come down. And let's remember, of course, it was Donald Trump who told Republicans to kill that tough and GOP-authored immigration bill so he could keep it as a campaign issue. And that's not working as he would have liked. And then with inflation as well. Yes, costs are still high. Americans aren't thrilled. But we see every single trend saying they're coming down. The economy is improving. We had the rate cut yesterday. So I think you're seeing even a more scattered approach from Trump, which is what we often see, guys, when he knows he's in a bind.
Well, yeah. I mean, this all came after he lost the debate. Joining the conversation, we have the host of the podcast On Brand with Donny Deutsch, NBC News senior business analyst and host of the 11th Hour, Stephanie Ruhle joins us, and Democratic candidate for New York's first U.S. congressional district, John Avlon. Good to have all of you with us this morning. Donny, I just want you to give us your thoughts on these baseless lies that they keep promulgating, I think at a different time. The lies would be called out, an apology would be issued, and hopefully life would go on in a safer way. But no, they double down. They continue. What's going on?
I actually think history is going to be very focused on the eating of the cats and dogs and the pets, because it is one statement that encompasses everything that is wrong with Donald Trump. First of all, it's an absolute lie. Second of all, it's racist. Third of all, it's insane. Fourth, it's hate mongering. It's everything.
Hey, Donny, what about your friends? What about your friends and that you talk about all the time? And people I know, my friends who see this lie, who know it's a lie, who probably know what the reporter just said. They're going to find out that Miss Sassy, the cat, who that started all of this, was not eaten by a Haitian in a voodoo ceremony, but in fact wandered downstairs and was in the basement. Yeah, what do they say? And they're still going to vote for this guy who, again, can't even remember the crowd at his debate. We could go on and on.
I'll tell you
so
what
again,
it does.
What's the justification for what John Meacham would call the Peter Millar vest-wearing a clubhouse crowd.
What is interesting, it does shut them up. I mean, it is one statement where they go, hamana, a little Jackie Glaze.
But it doesn't change how they vote.
It doesn't change how they vote. And they're voting, and Joe, you and I have talked about this ad nauseum, that those are the people that really make my stomach turn. They know better, and it's an extra dollar in their pocket. They hide behind other issues, but there's nothing that's going to turn them, and it's frightening. These are people that I know, that I live amongst, and it's been an issue. It's been a social issue.
Steph, I'm sure you and I have the same conversations with similar people, and you go, just honestly, in good faith, tell me what do you? They go, corporate tax rate's going to go down. Deregulation.
Can we just stop with deregulation?
But that I'm just. I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
Trust me, that's what I hear every day. That's what I hear every day. And guess what? If you run a giant business, you're like, yeah, I don't want the regulators on my ass. But for the everyday average person, this idea, I want no regulation.
Right.
We don't want cumbersome regulation. We don't want stupid regulation. But if you're wondering, what's one of the main reasons we were hit with the financial crisis in 2008? Lack of good regulation, lack of smart regulation. So this idea, I don't want regulation, smart regulation is what protects us. You want Donald Trump back? Great. We're going to bring the payday lenders back. We're going to bring back predatory lending, which preys upon the most vulnerable people. The other thing that Donnie didn't say, that with the dogs and the cats, it's strategically stupid. Immigration could be a winning issue for Donald Trump if he played it correctly, but he doesn't. Right? We do have a capacity problem. We do have an issue in this country that has to be solved for. He hasn't addressed it one bit. We're sitting here tangled in what exactly happened with Miss Sassy. By the way, great cat name.
One of the guys
wish it was mine.
that argued about regulation said to me, do you know the stack of papers I get as backup to my Goldman Sachs statement? And he was complaining about that. That's the problem with regulation.
Oh, my goodness. And how long my CDS receipt is.
Relatable. Highly relatable,
John,
there, right?
You're seeing this inside your own campaign against Trump-backed candidate Nick LaLota, who was at the rally, I think, last night.
He was proudly saying he was the first purple state district candidate to endorse Donald Trump.
So what are the conversations like for people who haven't been following your race closely? What is the debate? What's at the center of your campaign right now?
Affordability, abortion rights, border security. But here's the deal. I think people are starting to get a sense, you talk to folks in diners, that the economy is starting to improve. They understand that a lot of this is just fear-mongering over facts. They're offended that someone like Donald Trump took away a right. Right? And that the guy like Nick LaLota cheered the overturning of Roe v. Wade and then wants to repeal New York's own abortion law. That's not common sense. But you know what? State and local tax deduction. Trump flip-flopped on that, right? In a total pander. Because remember, Trump and the Republicans took away that state and local tax deduction. That's thousands of dollars in people's pockets every year. And this is, Trump's now trying to do the old sort of arsonist pretending to be a firefighter routine.
Do people
But it's not gonna
believe
fly.
him, though? Like, yes, everybody at that rally. Beyond that, they know who put the salt cap in because it was a huge issue for New Yorkers.
It is a huge issue for New Yorkers, and Democrats have pledged to restore it, and Republicans have said that it's never coming back. So to that extent, it's the most consequential economic election we're going to have. No, look. The act's getting old. We're in swollen Elvis stage here. All that talking about himself. I mean, you know, the local Republicans went and kissed the ring, but they got mentioned 40 minutes in by Donald Trump because it's not about them. It's not actually about the people of the crowd. So do you talk to folks, they'll say even in the redder districts that they've got half the number of Trump signs they did even 4 years ago. And Trump won Suffolk County by almost 50,000 votes in 2016. He won it by 232 votes in